to make a fabric mask. Here we have the fabric piece over here. What we'll have to do first is take the shorter side of the mask and we're going to hem up or stitch the shorter edges. I am going to be using the zigzag stitch over here. It is a personal preference, not required for it. You can also use the normal stitch, but I just prefer the zigzag stitch so that it will be firm and it also creates a nice pattern. Now repeat the same on the other side as well. I do a double fold so that the stitches stay good and the fabric does not fray after multiple washes. So we go ahead and continue with the same stitch over here on the other side as well. Now we've got both the sides hemmed. We move on to attaching the elastic. What we'll have to do is, before that, we have to remember about the filter and the opening for the filter. So fold the fabric into two and mark the middle point of the fabric. Now what we'll have to do is we will be working on the wrong side. So I open up the fabric and using the midpoint, I place the two edges just on top of each other and press the creases so that we have a straight edge on both the sides. Now we'll have to take the elastic, and the elastic will have to be placed near the fold and at a 45-degree angle. One thing we'll have to remember over here is we'll have to do a reverse stitch and go over the elastic a couple of times so that the elastic gets stitched firmly. And also, once it's done, make sure the elastic is out of the way and continue stitching the edges. Once we've almost reached the other end of the fabric, we have to attach the other end of the elastic. When you're doing so, make sure that the elastic is flat and there's no twists and turns. And similarly, place it at a 45-degree angle, and we will have to complete this side. And we go over the elastic a couple of times. So now we'll have to repeat the same on the other side as well. So here is the elastic. I place it at a 45-degree angle at the corner, and I go over the elastic a couple of times so that it is nice and secured. Now again we stop. We pull out the elastic and ensure it's not twisted or turn. It's lying flat, and we place it at a 45-degree angle onto the other corner. And we complete this side. Now we are done with the basic structure of the mask. We'll have to turn the work inside out. Now this will be the back of the mask, and this is going to be the front of the mask. Now we'll move on to making the pleats. The trick that I followed to get pleats easily and neatly is to go ahead and iron it. So first we iron out the mask flat. Then you fold the mask into half. Open up the mask and bring both the corners to the center and press it again. Now open it up and turn your work. And now we make the pleats. Now once we've got the pleats set, again iron it so that this will stay in place while we move it to the sewing machine. And now we go ahead and stitch it. Okay, now we are going to go ahead and stitch the pleats. What you will have to keep in mind while stitching the pleats is we'll have to try and make the stitch as close to the corner as possible, and also start and end the stitch with a reverse stitch so that it doesn't open up, because these masks are going to be used multiple times and they would be washed rigorously. So just to ensure that these stitches do not open up, we go ahead and stitch it up on the reverse in the start and at the end. Similarly on the other side as well, we will have to go ahead and repeat the same process on the other end also. Now we are done with the basic structure of the mask. Now it's a time to go ahead and insert the nose wire for the mask. Turn your work so that you'll have the back facing you. And now fold the mask into two, marking the center point for the mask. The nose wire that we are using is approximately 4 inches long. So what I'm going to be doing is marking the center point over here and a little bit more than 2 inches on each side. We'll be using 2 of these wires over here. Now open up and place it on top. Now we will have to go ahead and stitch the wire casing. So first make a small stitch on the first 2-inch mark. Now turn your work. Ensure that the wire is pushed to the corner and stitch up to the other end of the wire. Now turn your work and close and finish the wire casing. Now we're done with the mask. Trim the edges for the threads, and there are some key factors that we just have to keep in mind while stitching the mask. One factor is that while we are stitching the mask, the nose wire has to go onto the top of the mask. So the top meaning when we are wearing the mask, the front, just make sure that the pleats are facing down and have the wire over here, so that when people are wearing the mask, no dust gets accumulated in between the pleats when it's facing the front. So here we go. Here is the final look of the mask that we have completed. Thank you.